Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host Canadian Crypt, and today I'm going to be going over my current horror movie collection. With that being said, if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe and click the little bell below to keep up to date with new horror content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back and thank you for sticking with me. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off, we have the 2005 remake of the Amityville Horror. Now, this movie tends to get a lot of flack. I'm assuming it's because Michael Bay is involved. I thought it was a great film, I thought it was really well made, and I thought Ryan Reynolds took the role and ran with it. Up next, we have Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. This is a movie a lot of people love to bitch about. A lot of people just flat out don't like Eli Roth. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a great outbreak movie, and it's a really fun movie to watch with a group of friends. Up next, we have one of the best Stephen King film adaptations, and that is Carrie. Up next, we have a film that scared the absolute shit out of me when I was younger, and it still gets under my skin to this day. We have Candyman, featuring one of my favorite horror actors of all time, Tony Todd. Up next, we have the sequel to Candyman, Farewell to the Flesh. It's not as good as the original, but it's a lot better than the third one. Another Stephen King adaptation, and that is Children of the Corn. Up next, we have one of the first horror films I ever saw, and that is Child's Play. Continuing on with the Chucky theme, we have the Chucky Killer Collection, featuring a very punched-in Chucky face on the front. I always thought this one was weird because it never involved the original film. That might be for legal reasons, I'm not sure. But anyway, cool collection. First two movies are really good. Up next, we have another impulse buy that I ended up finding in a bargain bin at a pharmacy one day when I was younger, and that is Dark Harvest. Really not a good movie. Up next, we have the classic witchcraft film, The Craft. Up next, we have the George A. Romero classic, Creep Show, which features some very, very questionable Stephen King acting.
Oh, you done it now, Jordy Verrill? You monkhead!
Up next, we have a Canadian film, and I know what you're gonna say. This isn't a horror movie. No, it's a grindhouse film, but I keep my horror and grindhouse films together. We have the debut film from the Soska sisters, Dead Hooker in a Trunk. This is cool because I actually got to meet them a few months back at one of their film premieres, and I actually got them to sign this, and inside is actually an original ticket from their Dead Hooker in a Trunk film release, which is also signed. Up next, we have a doll film that I actually really enjoyed, and that is Dead Silence. Up next, we have another grindhouse film from my collection, and that is Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Alright, up next we have Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects, which I actually got signed by Brian Posehn a few years ago. Alright, up next we have George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead. Now, this is probably my least favorite George A. Romero film, but it's still fun for a watch once in a while. Up next we have Sam Raimi's Drag Me to Hell. I really enjoyed this one, it's probably one of the very few Justin Long movies that I actually like. Up next we have more of a comedy, but it revolves around one of horror's biggest icons, and that is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Up next, we have Sam Raimi's masterpiece, and that is The Evil Dead. I actually had the chance to meet Bruce Campbell a few years ago. Sadly, I did not get this signed. I ended up getting a pop figure signed, but he was very friendly, so that was cool. Up next, we have a prime example of remakes done right, and that is The Evil Dead remake. If you're into really gory films... Up next, we have possibly the worst Exorcist installment, and that is The Exorcist: The Beginning. This was a film that I actually picked up for a deal. I think I picked it up at a pawn shop years ago, but yeah, you don't need this in your collection. Up next, we have the paranormal film The Eye with Jessica Alba. Yeah, you don't need this one either. Up next, we have possibly one of the worst horror remakes ever made, and that is The Fog. Up next, we have a 4-movie collection of Friday the 13th. You can never go wrong with Jason Voorhees. Friday the 13th Part 3 3D. Up next, we have Ginger Snaps 2. Now I know what you're thinking, where's Ginger Snaps 1? Not that I haven't tried, but finding a physical copy of the original Ginger Snaps is not easy. So the day I find it, I will add it to the collection. Up next we have a comedy horror classic, and that is the original Gremlins. Alright, another impulse buy, which was actually from Roger's Video when it went out of business, and that is Grim Reaper. Alright, up next we have the remake of The Grudge. Not the horrible 2020 remake that almost made me walk out of the theater. No, this is the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar, which, it's not a bad movie, it's pretty good. Following up, we have The Grudge 2. Alright, up next we have my favorite horror movie of all time, and that is John Carpenter's Halloween. Up next we have Halloween 4, which was actually our first introduction to Danielle Harris's character Jamie. Alright, up next we have one of Rob Zombie's biggest blunders in my opinion, and that is Halloween 2. I have no idea where he was trying to go with this, but yeah, I haven't seen it since I bought it. Alright, up next we have Adam Green's Hatchet 3, which I ended up picking up secondhand at a video store. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna end it on that one. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit it with a like, and if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram at Canadian Crypt, where I let you guys decide on the videos I'm gonna make next. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay scary.